So, the Pulsar has finally showed its true colours. She's finally showed her true colours, and to be honest I took her a run because it had a misfire, no because of this issue, and this issue's presented itself. I had a slight misfire, it was running a bit so I decided I was going to put it in and check everything because it's going to Scottish Festival of Motoring. But first we need to take it down to Danny to get paint. That's what this episode's actually supposed to be, but we've got issues. She's finally showed her true colours. I went to put fuel in it because it was low, so I wanted to eliminate that from the misfire thing that might have been running out of fuel. And then when I've came out, there's water. I mean, you can see it under here, Michelle, if you look under there. There was a big, huge puddle in the fuel station.
I can't see for the shadow of your car.
Anyway, there was a big puddle and I could see it literally pouring out down the fuel station. I've managed to nurse it back here, and this is the situation where we're at. So it's going to be getting this fixed, hopefully, and then off to paint with Danny in this episode. The t-shirt, I actually got this t-shirt made for the Arran trip, and I had it on when I slipped and fell. Replay moment. And I never got to show you guys, so I made an actual Pulsar Live t-shirt, and the one time I wear it with the car since then, and it's broken down. At least it never happened in Arran. Right, so it's in. I know what coolant pipe it's going to actually be, so I don't know if it's moved or the Jubilee clip's loose or whatever. A small strip down will reveal, but I kind of want to relieve pressure so that I can, and it's also boiling hot, relieve the pressure at the hose by opening the cap. But have you ever seen a radiator cap being taken off and it blows up in your face? I'll insert a clip here of old Jimmy from a place I used to work at. He'll never forgive me if he sees this, but insert here. Hear it? Ah, we're okay. Jimmy must just have got a bad one.
That was anticlimactic.
I'm glad it's anticlimactic. It's still going to be roasting though, so. Yeah, that system's empty, man. We must just have got this home. The coolant was, the temp gauge wasn't high. It was sitting in the middle, but it was just starting to move, I think. So I think I've caught it just in time. Hopefully there's no much more to come out of this pipe and I can get it changed. So I'm going to remove the intercooler, get access to this pipe. Funnily enough, it's the pipe which is a straight pipe, which was in the Ruse Motorsport kit, but I didn't believe it was long enough, so I didn't fit it. I just put the original back on. And when I've put the original back on, this is obviously where the problems came. So we'll tear this down and we'll show you guys. First thing to do is remove the intercooler elbows to gain access into the engine. Pretty straightforward. Then, to access the bus pipe which I have suspicion over, I have to remove the coil and the king lead out of the way, and now I can access the pipe. I'm praying I've got this correct, but we're in deeper water than I first thought, and with the Scottish Festival of Motoring just round the corner, it's pretty important that we get this running and get the car to Danny. I've used a pry bar at one end of the pipe and pulled with my hand to remove it from the other side. Remove the pipe. As I was saying, I don't know if you guys will remember, when I was doing these coolant hoses, I had a straight pipe, and there was a straight pipe which runs either, is that the feed or the return from the turbo? But I just felt that was too small. And if I hold these two together, if I remove this protective piece, you can see there's A, there's a slight kink in that, and B, There's an extra 1/4 inch on it, I would say. And that's the reason why I put this one back on, but obviously you can see it was past its best and it's game over for it. And I don't think this fits this, or does it? So maybe that would help if I could maybe even slip this into this. We'll try that, and then we'll put this one on. And then we'll try and bleed it up. I'm just using some spray lubricant here to try and slip the protective pipe over our coolant pipe. But after about 20 minutes or so, it became an absolute pain and it wasn't slipping over, so I switched to grease. And then again, after about another 20 minutes of struggling and wrestling, it still wouldn't slip over properly. I think it's because of the kink, but we do need to keep the pipe because it's protecting from rubbing against the thermostat housing, so I decided just to cut it in half and slide it on from both ends, which gives us enough protection. Right, so I have just slipped that back on, a little bit of measuring style. So if Michelle brings the camera in, I'm just making sure that the bulge is there, so I'm on and off the pipe on this side, and the same down there, the bulge is up in kind of here, so we're okay with this Jubilee clip as well. What's happened is you can see a wee bit of flex in this pipe, so I've just put a wee bit of oomph this way to make sure that the pipe is long enough. I don't know if that was just used a wee bit of flex that might have been available in the pipe to close and grip. The hose will be gripping it, so that means that we've put the last hose on technically, and we should have solved the leak. And I managed to cut and slip that on and butt it, so it's resting against the thermostat housing, so it shouldn't be rubbing through the hose as well. So I'm hoping that that's a quick fix, and then we can get on to the next issue. I should be allowed to put coolant in this now. Make sure this is coolant and not urine, because sometimes when I need a pee I don't have a toilet in here. I have to do a wee in some old bottles. So sometimes when you own that coolant bottle, you have to make sure it's coolant and no urine. So you need to make sure it's blue and no yellow. As I said, I had developed a little slight misfire, and I've noticed some orangeness round about here. And if I pull out this plug, look, so it looks like water.
Can you use a wee bit of light on there, Paul, so we can see?
Yeah.
Damn.
It looks like water is coming through the vents. I don't know if I've got anything missing. It looks like water's coming through the vents and it's pulling in this area, rain, and then it's falling down in the spark plug well, and it's creating a shit connection in there because that looks rusted in there, so I might need a new spark plug lead. And if I pull off the next one, it's okay, it's fine. So
look at the difference between
I know, that's just a bit of water that's sitting in there. So I'm going to pull that plug out, clean it up, put it back in, and what I'm going to need to do is I'm going to need to get a valve cover to cover this, because obviously can't have that. So I'm hoping that once I do this, that rectifies it. I've not had it running, and when it's running, if I pulled each individual plug and you could hear it changing or no changing, you would know to narrow it down to that cylinder. But because we've burst the coolant line and I've got visual evidence of a problem there, I'm going straight for that, and then I'll run the car again, because when I came back from filling it with fuel to make sure it wasn't a fueling thing, it didn't misfire, so it's intermittent. So I think it's going to be this. So pulling the plugs out just now while it's no misfire isn't going to really do anything for me. So I'm going to pull this plug out. And the thing is, I don't want any of that shite to go down in there. Just need to be careful. Yeah, a bit crappy. So you see a lot of moisture sitting on that, so obviously no good. I will change the plug as well, just I don't have a spare one just now. Also it's good because I thought it might be overfueling again, but I think we look not too bad there. If anything, it maybe looks as if it's running a bit lean.
I'm just using my little hoover trick here just to try and vacuum anything out that may be sitting down in there, because we don't want any debris or anything going down into the cylinder. And then I've quickly fired everything back together for the first start up. And then I can bleed up the engine. Hopefully everything's going well. If that is the case, we can take it down to Danny, who's eagerly awaiting the Pulsar's arrival. I've been using Nimmo's Coachworks for a few years now, ever since I've met Danny. One thing I've always struggled with is having a good painter and a good body shop, so it's always great to have the support of Danny and Emma behind us. As you guys will have seen in the channel before, Danny does all of my paintwork. We don't really trust anyone else. We've got a good relationship with him and Emma, and they're always eager to help us out. You'll have seen Danny and his team's work a few times on the channel now, as he's repainted the Subaru, the Golf GTI, the Integra DC5, the Classic Mini, and now the Pulsar. It's not the only project Danny's working on with me just now. There's a huge one to reveal later in the year. I think we will all agree Danny's pulled it out the bag while I've been laying in the sun for 2 weeks. This car's had paint many times over, and Danny actually had to get someone in to scan the paint to match the code, and they achieved a 96% colour match, which I think Danny's done a great job here. After its visit to Danny, I'm confident this Pulsar is now sitting in the best condition it's ever been in my ownership. I'm loving working on the Pulsar now, something I never thought I would ever say. But now it's time for Danny to fire it all back together and see if we can make it to the Scottish Festival of Motoring, which is in Ingliston, Edinburgh. You'll all know I've joined JDM Scotland a few times on the channel now, but this year they've teamed up with Japanese Performance Car Club Scotland to make one mega club stand. These are just a small amount of the mega cars that were on display at the stand. The festival is a great day out, and this is the second year we've had a car on the stand, last year being the Subaru. We even took some time to go window shopping at the supercar section, as we've actually started negotiating on a car which is similar to one which is on display here. So keep an eye on our trading series to find out what's happening. To finish a mega day, there was only one thing that could put the icing on the cake.
Very well deserved. It goes to JPCC Nissan. Well done, guys. You were number one on all judges' scorecards.
It's great to see cars bring so many people from so many different areas and cultures together and just celebrate the one thing we all love the most. The club stand organisers put in a huge amount of work to get everyone in this stand ready, and it even finished off by doing some internal club stand awards.
And the next one to take a prize on the stand, well presented car always, 370Z Nismo Brian.
I'm just so proud that after 8 years of ownership, me and the Pulsar could actually enjoy something together for a change. And like I've always said, if it starts behaving, I'll do more and more with it. So now it's time to start modifying the Pulsar for the future episodes. And if you've enjoyed this video, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and like the video for some more Pulsar content in the future, along with all our other JDM nuggets.